Greetings. Peace, everybody. Welcome back to Community Radio. I'm your host, Kim, and today is Thursday, the 15th. So we're in the middle of December already. I mean, this month is really going by fast. So, anyway, welcome back to Community Radio. If you missed Tuesday's show, we were speaking on dreams. We're speaking about dreams. And it kind of ties into what we're talking about today. As usual, like I said, I kind of try to pick a topic or something to talk about prior to going on the air just to kind of get the ball rolling a bit because sometimes people are shy about bringing up a topic. But just to remind you, it is an open forum. There is no specific topic. We can speak about whatever you like. Whatever's on your mind. Maybe you saw something in the news or on social media or something happened or whatever. Whatever you feel like talking about, we can discuss. 515-605-9862. Just press the number 1 to listen or to be heard, so that I can bring you on. And usually, again, like I said, I'll come up with a topic or something. So culture was on my mind recently. And of course, this month's theme for Chief Speaks and just Anu Nation as a whole is living the culture. And so recently I watched this show. I think it's called, The Night of. Yeah, I think it's like on HBO or something like that. I don't know. It's a series called The Night of. And it's about this guy. He's Pakistani. And he gets invited to, I think he's a janitor or something, and he gets invited to like an NBA party or something. And he's like super, super excited. He's a student, janitor, works in the locker room or something. And he and his friend were invited to go. And so he's like super, 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 super excited. And they're like, what kind of girls are going to be there? And da, da, da. So he goes home and he tells his parents, which they're Muslim. And his mother says to him that she doesn't like him hanging out with those types or that crowd or something like that, she said. And then the son asked, what do you mean? Are you talking about black? And she said, I didn't say that. So anyway, as the night progresses, he finds out his friend can't go to the party. His friend's Muslim as well. His friend can't go to the party. And so now he's like, I don't want to, I don't want to go by myself. What am I going to do? So his father drives a taxi and he takes his father's taxi. He's like, I'm going to this party. But on the way to the party, he encounters this girl or whatever. And to make a long story short, he gets involved with this girl. They end up going back to her apartment. They had sex or whatever. They were doing some drugs. He wakes up the next morning. The girl's been stabbed like 22 times. And he hardly remembers anything and gets wrapped up in this whole thing with dealing with this girl. And she lives like on the Upper East Side of Manhattan or somewhere, like in a really good neighborhood in Manhattan. And he's poor and Pakistani and Muslim. And it just, to me, like, and watching him just transform throughout this series because, he's just basically a student. They're Muslim. They're very conservative. Gets involved with this girl. He's doing drugs. He's doing all this. And he gets brought up on charges for her murder. So they send him to Rikers. And it's like a complete cultural shock for him because, he's pretty much just, like a very, not very outgoing kind of guy. He lives a pretty sheltered life. And so to kind of watch him transform as he kind of goes through all these changes while he's in prison is interesting. But it also just made me think a lot about culture and that something his mother said when she was saying she didn't like him hanging out with those types or didn't like him hanging out with those type of people. It just kind of goes to show what happens when you kind of step outside of your own normal culture or community, some of the things that you may encounter. And you have to look at it like life is kind of filled with these type of choices that we can make. And sometimes when we choose to participate in certain things, like you automatically sign up for certain things. Say, for instance, if you know, I don't know, if I purchased a gun, there are like a set of circumstances that can come with me owning a gun, only if I own a gun. Now, if I don't have one, I don't fall into certain categories. So it's kind of the same thing with culture. It's like depending on your culture, you're only subjected to a certain set of things that can happen to you because your culture kind of shapes your whole world for you. And so when you step out of that culture and you introduce other things into it, then you sign up for a whole another world, you know, and you kind of open yourself up to things. So anyway, it made me think about culture a lot. Even Tuesday show when we were talking about dreams. And it's because when you don't have one, your identity and your whole makeup of how you view the world, how you view yourself is like hijacked from you. And you're leaving it up to somebody else to define for you. And just like in the show we had about dreams on Tuesday, as you heard, like some people will trust other people's interpretations of what their dreams mean. And it's just because it's like you don't know yourself. You don't have like a cultural identity or anything that kind of tells you this is what it is. This is this is how you came to the planet. This is your relationship with it. This is your role in it. This is how you should behave. This is what's right, what's wrong. And when you don't have that type of framework for your life, it's like you're scrambling for things because you don't have a clue about what to think. So sometimes you may go to somebody else and kind of rely on what they say you are, or what they say how they say you should view certain things. I'm gonna pause just for a second. I've got a call on 864. Greetings.
Greetings, Mr. Kim. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
It's windy out here, but I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very windy. Yes, I'm on my way to work.
Okay.
So I said, let me try to get in where I fit in. I just wanted to say thank you. Just thinking about the Women's Call Monday, and I got a chance to get a snippet, archive yesterday on my way to work. And I heard my name, and it put me in a state of shock. And I was a little silly, and I was a little bit embarrassed and a little silly. I was like, oh, my God. I come and anyway, through the women's group, some of my struggles. But the women's group is where it's at. That's all I can say. Anybody that's listening. I'm making, it's nice to start putting action behind things, and seeing what happens, letting go, trusting my ancestors, and, just putting in the work in the right way.
Yeah.
When doors start opening up in ways that I couldn't have planned for it to happen, letting go of that superwoman ego, just, I don't know, it's amazing. All I can think is, I knew you, Chief, Tasha, she's always, saying something that I can get something from. Yeah. Everybody, everybody on the women's group, I just wanted to give thanks, really. I'm still going through it, but it's different though. I can manage.
That's awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, Krista. Why were you embarrassed when you heard your name? You thought I was going to say something specific?
No, I don't know. I don't know. Silly, I guess. I don't know. It took me off guard.
What happens in the women's group stays in the women's group. But no, Tasha called in Tuesday as well because she shared something about it. She shared one of her dreams or whatever. But just for those of you listening, we do a Monday Women's Call every strong. And if you want to be a part of it, go to anewlifeglobal.org. You have to at least be a part of the ministry to join. But yeah, that group, I tell, just like I told you on Monday, like, I need it just as much as you all need it. It's like it really is becoming a tight little community, for us. We've had a lot of breakthroughs, with that group, everybody. And I was saying on Tuesday how everybody seems to kind of be syncing up. You know what I mean? We're kind of, we're all kind of, and I didn't even realize it at the time. When we were speaking last strong, it was like, until Sister Michelle kind of clued us in on some things that was going on. And then everybody else was like, oh, me too. And so it's like,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so everybody's kind of, we're kind of gelling together, so to speak, and really kind of becoming quite close. You know what I mean? Which was the objective of the group, is to really form a bond with each other and have like a real sisterhood, where we can actually get some real help, not the excuse me, not the sister girl, leave your man. If I was you,
and then,
type of advice.
Sometimes that's what. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I can't even speak. Like after hearing everybody talk, it's just like you be in my head or something. So sometimes I can't even speak. So the things that, even though you might be speaking about yourself, the things that you're saying, I'm taking it in, but I can see myself. How it's not the same situation, but it's like playing over in my head, and I'm I'm soaking it all up, and I'm just trying to make sure that I am, if I need to be checked, check me, just, I'm really about just being
getting better,
actualized, self-actualized as much as possible, and the group is just a bomb. That's all I can say. Bomb.com.
It is. Yeah. It's been a really good experience so far. Thank you, too.
Thank y'all. Thank you. I can't thank you enough.
And coming back every Monday.
Yes.
I'm glad you had your breakthrough, too. That was amazing. So congratulations on that.
I feel like more to come. Just got to keep doing the work and I don't know, letting go and quit trying to be Superwoman. Get that ego. I'm doing. Yeah. I'm appreciative. But I gotta get ready to go because I'm about to turn in.
Okay.
I'm about to turn in for my little job.
Thank you, Sister Krista, for calling in.
Have a good day.
All right,
I'm gonna come back and listen to the archive.
Okay. All right. Enjoy your day.
Bye. You too.
All right. I'm gonna go to 416. Greetings.
Greetings, Sister Kim. It's Cheryl calling.
Peace, Cheryl. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well.
I just called to leave off exactly where you guys were to say thank you so much for the sisters group that we have every Monday.
Mm-hmm.
It has done a lot for me, and I can't believe how in sync we are, because this has been an amazing week for me. And it's like all of us. It's been. I just can't believe how good this week has been going. And I'm looking forward for it to come. I know I've been listening to everybody, like Tasha and everybody's breakthroughs. Like, I've missed the last call with the dreams. I had to listen to it on the archives, but I had a dream for myself as well, and I listened to when I spoke to you the last time, and you said, just work with it, let it kind of speak to you, and that's exactly what I did, and I followed. And this week was amazing. I can't wait till our women's group, because that's our private time. But But it's great, and I just wanted to shed some love and show my appreciation to the group, to A New Nation on a whole, and prepare myself to have my reading with Chief in about an hour or two.
Oh,
so I'm gonna get kind of pulled on my feet.
Yeah.
I'm prepared for that one.
Get ready. Make sure you have your
I'm
questions.
Prepared.
Yeah, prepare your questions and everything. And if you can, download an app real quick on your phone so that you can record it.
I did. The recording. I downloaded the Anu app, but I'm having trouble with it. So.
Oh no, I mean like a phone recording app or something where you can record the call. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that you won't be, taking notes while because sometimes when you're taking notes, you can't listen as attentively. So just record it so you can go back and listen to it. But thank you so much for being a part of the group. Yeah, I mean, it really has been amazing. Like I said, those Monday calls have been something that I especially have I look forward to every strong.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
Me too.
It really is becoming a really tight little group. Everybody's kind of bonding with each other, and now it's like, we all kind of feel comfortable to speak to each other openly and honestly about certain things. It's just been a real good experience so far, and like you said, everybody's just kind of syncing up. And this has happened before with a couple of other sisters that I've done spiritual work with, and they're in the women's group. I think Sister Michelle and Taya.
Yeah.
But especially Taya, we've done some rituals and things together before, and we noticed that we're not close to each other at all. We're in completely different states. We're super far apart, but that witchy energy that we speak of, with women or whatever, it does cause you to you kind of bond together. You start to experience similar things. It gets really, really witchy. So that whole female thing of like syncing up and everything, that is so true. So it's like, I remember, I think it was about a strong ago, or maybe a couple of strongs ago, like we were all going through it, and I didn't even realize it because I didn't even bring it up.
It was like, it was 2 strongs ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember it correctly because I was in mine.
Yeah, and then everybody just kind of
like, I don't know. It's like we're in a different world all of a sudden.
The conversation just kind of drifted there. It was like, oh, I've been feeling this. Oh, I've been feeling this. And then everybody's like, oh, my God, me too. Oh, my God, me too. So it's like that energy of synchronicity really does, like, kick in, like when you really start to open up and be vulnerable and really start to try to form a bond with somebody. So that women's group, like I said, it has been an awesome experience, and just to send a shout out and just to say thank you to all the women on that call every Monday. Thank you. Like I said, I needed
that's all I wanted to say, because it's been a blessing. And I think the more we connect, also the more that we all speak, is the more that we form a bond, and it's a clean bond. It's not one of those loose lifestyle kind of bonds. I'm trying to be careful with my words, but it's one of those bonds that it's something that can give you progress. It gives you something that you can grow from, and that's one of the things I appreciate the most.
Yes.
So that's what I called to say. I don't know what our topic is today, but I just good advice.
We can talk about it.
Raunchy,
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna keep listening. I just wanted to make sure say my thankfulness and my appreciation towards Anu and to our sisters group, and I'm sure we're gonna continue to build and grow stronger within our group.
Yeah, so definitely.
I look forward to talking to everybody on Monday.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta talk to you too, Cheryl. I gotta ask you something. I'll probably give you send you an email or something a little bit later.
Okay, perfect. I'll look out for it.
All right.
So I'm listening.
Enjoy your day.
If we touch a topic that, I don't know, if there's a topic that I need to jump in, I'm going to call him back. I'm listening.
Okay. Okay. No problem.
Okay.
All right.
Peace.
All right. So we got another testimony for the women's group. As you can see, these groups are really taking off. I think the men only have had one so far, but the women have been meeting for a while. So, men don't really talk as much as we do. It's something that we need constantly. we talk a lot. So sometimes our sessions go on for 3-4 hours. But like I said, the group has really been an amazing experience, to actually start to bond with these ladies. And like I said, we're all over the United States. You know what I mean? So it's not like we're close to each other, but that synchronicity just kind of kicks in, and you really do, when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you really do start to make connections with people, and you can really start affecting each other's lives and helping each other out. So that's been an awesome experience. Again, if you're listening and you want to be a part of that or the men's group, remember you have to at least be a part of the ministry. So you have to go to anewlifeglobal.org to sign up to be a part of the ministry before you can be on either one of those calls. So anyway, thank you, Carissa and Cheryl, for saying what you said. Let's see, we got another call with their hand up. This is 202. Greetings.
Greetings, Sister Kim. My name is Nyambi. I have been listening to you for a while. Generally, I don't have the opportunity to actually chime in and speak. However, I've gained so much knowledge and wisdom and things to personally look at myself and listening to you. And I just wanted to continue to put you up in my prayers and ensure that you know that although you may get some craziness on YouTube or other places, that you are actually touching people's lives and you're making a difference.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening.
Thank you. I recently submitted my application to become part of the ministry. So I look forward to hearing from you.
Okay.
It sounds
good.
Like the sister meetings will be a great influence on me too.
Okay.
And hopefully I can influence others.
We meet every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you should be getting a letter with the link, but if not, you can send me an email at SiriusBWitch@gmail, SIRIUSB as in boy, witch, WITCH @gmail, and I can send you the link if you don't get one, within the next few days.
Thank
to make
you.
sure that you're on that call on Monday. Thank you. And thank you for supporting.
No problem.
So we'll see you on Monday or Moon Day.
Well, I'm still listening in.
Okay.
I'll try to figure out what's going on. I just chimed in about 10 minutes ago. So I'm still trying to figure out what the subject is. What are we talking about today?
Again, we really don't have a subject. Sometimes I'll pick something just to talk about until everybody starts to call in. So just mute your line. I'm going to leave you on. So if you want to just, come back in and say whatever you want to say, you just unmute your line. I'm not going to mute you.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And thanks for calling. All right. So today, again, thanks to all the ladies calling in. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the support. It feels good. One more. Let's see, 662. Greetings. Peace.
Greetings, Sister Kim.
Greetings. Is this
Hi,
Michelle?
Hi, it's Michelle.
Oh, okay.
In the dream,
I had your
this.
voice now.
Okay, I had a kind of strange dream. I had a cousin that passed away a few months ago, and I dreamed that, which we had all kind of drama with her passing. It was like a split in the family. Mm-hmm. But in my dream, like one of her children was like, "Mama left you these clothes," so I go to get the clothes, and as unpacking the clothes and making sure their pockets are empty and stuff, it's like all kinds of money in the pockets, just much money. Now she didn't have no money. Mm-hmm. So I thought about it. I did not write the dream down, but I thought about it. But anyway, in my dream, I'm thinking, okay, I have this money. I'm going to do this to fix this house, and I'm going to buy this house over here, and then I'm going to break the rest. That was my thought about what I was going to do. And when I tried to figure it out, I'm knowing she don't have any money. Couldn't figure it out. Like 2 days later, all of a sudden, cousins that I don't know, I do the genealogy for my family, they just start showing up and calling me and helping me with more information. And And I'm really thinking, because me and her did have that connection on the genealogy. She was really helping me,
Okay.
To find out, where some of my people were from and things of that nature.
Mhm.
So, in my thinking, the money was actually family and learning about my family.
Okay. Mhm.
I don't
Definitely.
know. What do you think?
Definitely, wealth can be looked at as family and children. That's something, from an African perspective, of course, family and children are your wealth. So it can be looked at that. You said your mother, you said somebody left some clothes for somebody. Can you say that again? You were saying.
My cousin. It was my cousin, but it was her children that called me in the dream and was like, "Mama left these clothes for you, so come get them." And I went and got clothes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. So your cousin.
So we passed. Me and her children really weren't on speaking terms.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Of course, I think this is, of course, your cousin trying to connect with you as well still. But it's something, I'm not going to interpret it, but because I think you've figured that out, you know what I mean? But I would say definitely make sure you include her on your ancestral shrine. Okay. And start making those offerings, because I find that for me, now this is just me personally, whenever an ancestor shows up in most of my dreams, a lot of times they're giving me something. Every single time, like I would probably say, I think maybe only a couple of times have I had a dream where they weren't giving me something. But if they weren't giving me something, they were telling me something. So a lot of times when they're just, when I'm just interacting with them, or they're just talking, or if I'm just meeting them, that's what it is. It's like usually family members or ancestors that I didn't have a relationship with, or I didn't know, when they show up, they're always giving me something. And the ones that I do know, they're usually, relaying a message to me. So, just like in your dream, you were given something. Somebody was trying to give you something. So I would definitely make sure that you, accept it and put her on your shrine, and make sure you give offerings back, because that could definitely be the beginning of like she's probably trying to communicate with you, or even possibly trying to get you to start to communicate with her children. And like you said, all the other people that you were connected to, she's helping you find the rest of the family.
Now that you say that, it's really weird, because me and my son went out to eat one morning, and her son's girlfriend was in the restaurant. Anyway, she left, and then she came back with my cousin. Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird.
They're all bringing you people. They're bringing you stuff. Yeah, bringing people to you. So I'm not sure, but are you the only one in your family that is really into anything like this, like African spirituality or shrines and altars and all this kind of stuff?
Yes, I'm the voodoo woman for my family.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's usually how it happens. It's like, once the light switch is on, like you said, you had that connection with your cousin, with the genealogy and everything. So she knows the importance of that genealogy, and she's probably saying, look, our family needs some help. These people, she starts bringing you all these people, you know what I mean, to connect you further to the family, to say, look, help them, because it very much is like, like she says, spirits live in the dark. So when you flip that light switch on, or light that candle on that altar, and have that food and all that ashe and energy, and coming through that one channel, it's like everybody starts to come. They're like, ooh, finally somebody's awake, because nobody else is doing anything. Nobody else is talking to us. Nobody else is, so it's like they can finally talk. They can finally get some, get some energy. They can, because they're trying to still transition and evolve past the ancestral realm. They're not trying to stay stuck there. You know what I mean? But nobody is feeding them. Nobody is talking to them. So you are, like you said, you the voodoo woman of your family. I know I'm the voodoo woman of mine. So it's like as soon as I started to talk to them, the same thing happened. I remember having a dream where I was going back to where my family's from, and all of them were, it was like they were on a bus. You know, like how you charter a bus to these, you know, reunions and all this other kind of stuff. It was like a bus load of people. And I was like, where are we? You know, I was like, who are all these people? Then I started to know. I knew like some of the people on the bus. I knew some of the relatives, but some of them I didn't. But it was just like everybody was so happy, and we were driving back to the place, you know, the town where they were born, where they were from, where most of them were from. And so we were going to Louisiana, but it was just interesting. Like you said, they all came just in a big group. You know, very similar to what you're saying. Like all the kids were saying, here, Mama left this for you. They're leaving you all this stuff, and now you're finding all of these family members. So sometimes I guess it, you know, comes like that. You know, once they know, oh, Michelle's hooked in. She can hear us. She can talk to us. Okay, you know, everybody go to Michelle. There's a movie about that actually that I saw once, where this guy, he was able to speak to the dead, or what, he could like see everybody. And I guess he was like the only one that they could find. So everybody that had died in this town, in this city, I think it was in New York, everybody started coming to him to like tie up loose ends that they didn't get to finish, you know, before they passed. You know, oh, make sure you get this to my daughter. Make sure you tell her this. Make sure you do this. So he's running around town doing all this work for these people that have passed, because none of their relatives were really connected to be able to hear them. You know, they kept trying to get messages to them, but, you know, they were ignoring it. They were ignoring the signs, and they couldn't hear. So then they found this guy. He could hear them and see them. So then he was kind of running around doing everything for them, just that one person. So I guess it happens that way.
Well, I know what to do, because I was kind of cautious about putting her on my altar because of the way things happened, you know, towards the end. But
okay, you talking about the way she died or the state of the relationship?
The state of the relationship.
Oh, okay. Yeah, put her up there, because she's showing up. She's showing up. She maybe she needs to tell you something or whatever. Well, she has told you something. She's brought you all these family members. So yeah, definitely put her up there. I would.
I will.
Okay. Well, thank you, Michelle, for calling in.
Thank you.
I'm gonna again, if you want to just stay on, just mute your line. I won't mute your phone for you.
All righty.
Okay. All right. So another good testimony. Thank you, Sister Michelle, for calling in. Yeah, we all have these, you know, dreams are very important. And just to give you a heads up, there will be a dreams class-based webinar coming out within the next strong or so this month that I'm working on. So we'll get deeper into the topic of dreams in that class-based webinar. But again, it kind of ties us into what I was speaking on earlier about culture, is that if you really don't have a culture or anything that really kind of acclimates you to this earth and to, you know, to certain things, you'll believe anything somebody tells you, or you just kind of leave yourself open to like you make yourself a target to everybody else. So you see yourself through somebody else's eyes, through somebody else's interpretation of who you are. And that's kind of what has happened to a lot of Black people in this country. You don't really have a culture. And so when we have these conversations, and Chief talked about it on Sunday, the problems we have, like with some of the comments and the things that are left on the YouTube videos, is coming from people who are speaking about personal experiences. They're not necessarily coming from a place that like Chief is speaking from, where he's speaking about, facts or truth. They're really just kind of taking everything personally and speaking about their own personal experience. But it's hard to have a conversation when you do that, because some people do have a culture. Some people have studied culture extensively, in different cultures extensively, to know that, look, you don't have one, and this is why you're messed up. But if you've never even questioned it or studied any of that, you would think that person is really just kind of attacking you. And when I was a kid, I remember that. I mean, this is one of my first memories, like from the time I could read and could form good sentences or whatever. It was like I knew something was off just in watching my own family and watching other Black people around me. It was like, I was looking at them and listening to them and seeing how they interacted with each other and the things that they did. And I'm like, this just seems so incomplete, and some of the things that they did to each other or said to each other and how they treated each other. I was just like, sometimes it didn't make sense. Sometimes it seemed very cruel. And I would just say, why does this person, what made them think that about themselves, or even think that about their relatives? What is their process of thought? I'm trying to, even as a kid, I was trying to understand, how are they coming to the conclusion that this is right or wrong? And, that's when I learned that I was really kind of fascinated with culture. One, because I was lacking a culture, because I could see clearly that our family didn't really have one. And it's, culture creates the mind of a person. So it tells you what's right, what's wrong. You have a language. You have foods that you eat. There's a religion. There's, how you greet each other, how you interact with your family, music, how you process thoughts, symbols, your values, everything. There's so many things that make up a culture. And when you're not aware of any of that stuff, it's like, like Chief has said in his book, if you don't have a culture, one will be chosen for you. So for the most part, most of us are living a culture that we're not even aware of. You don't even have a clue what you have signed up for or what you're a part of, because you haven't chosen anything for yourself. And the thing is that you can choose. We live in an era now where so much information is accessible, and these communities kind of exist everywhere. Like, especially if you go to New York, that the neighborhoods and things are very much segregated, kind of. Like, the Russians live over here, the Africans over here, the Rastas live over here, the Asians live, the Chinese are over here, everybody kind of has their own little, neighborhood. And so culture is, again, just such a huge, huge part of who you are. And so when you don't have it, it's like you don't even have an original thought. Something has been programmed into you. And depending on the culture that you have that has been chosen for you, it may be completely anti whatever your ethnic makeup is, which is, for the most part, again, what has happened to a lot of Black people here. So a lot of the things that you do say are off or crazy or insane, because they're not of your genetic your particular genetic makeup. And some of us, again, it's like I didn't even realize as a child that most people don't even think about it. It's not even a thought. To me, it was something that just kind of bugged me all through college, even up until now. It's just something that I was always trying to understand. Like, how did people come to make the decisions that they did? How did they especially when you would see a group of people that would speak another language, and I'm looking at, us as Black people, like we speak English. So of course that right there kind of tells you what culture we fall under. And if you study the particular culture that you come under, you know that that's not a culture that really values you or or likes you very much. So then when you start to study the religion of that particular culture, it tells you things. And like I said, your culture kind of tells you, tells you how you came to the planet. Religion does that. It tells you how you got here, what your relationship is with the Creator, what your purpose is on the planet, what you're supposed to be doing while you're here, what happens after you die. Ask the average person if they know any of that. And most of them don't. Most of them will just tell you about some things maybe they made up in their head or they saw on TV or even like or maybe some, will give you a Christian, interpretation of it or something. But for the most part, many people don't even know. They don't have a clue of how to answer any of those questions. And it's because they lack culture. If you ask a Jewish person that, they could answer every question for you very accurately. They know exactly how to answer it. They know why they're here. They know what their purpose is. They know what to call you because you're not of their group. All those things are answered. So when we start to have these conversations about how men relate to women, how men are, how women are, and all this other kind of stuff, most people have not really even thought about it, or they're speaking about their own experience. They're not, and they don't realize that you have some people who have studied this thing and have studied different cultures to see and can compare, these different cultures to each other and see that what you're talking about is wrong. It just is. And so you have all types of cultures. I know when I did the 21-day cigar challenge, where I was learning about, tobacco and kind of tapping into that spirit or that energy of tobacco, I learned a lot about cigar culture. And so it kind of took me down this path of learning about, cigar etiquette, different types of tobacco, how it's grown, how cigars are rolled, the laws surrounding tobacco, going back to, even how our people related to tobacco, how we used it, the tobacco plantations, even how now only certain families really control certain factories, just all different types of stuff. And there is a whole culture just around smoking cigars. There's an etiquette, there's a language, there's a way of dress, there's a way that you have to, a way to smoke a cigar, a proper way to do it, a right and wrong way to, there's a culture behind it. So there's a culture behind just about everything we do. And when we think about American culture, it's very toxic, and it's very, it's just very toxic. And I don't think very many people have studied this. Again, going back to just my own experience, like this was something that I craved and that I studied just growing up, as a child, just reading every book I could get my hand on. Even on into college, I went to college to study chemical engineering and chemistry. And on the side, I was taking anthropology courses, and cultural anthropology was what I really wanted to do. And so I started studying Arabic and, all these different things with language and people and culture. And so that really kind of even put me on a path much further to try to understand, even how language is developed, why people eat what they eat and everything. But even in doing that throughout college, I noticed that the perspective was always coming from a European or Western mindset. They were the ones who always studied everybody else. Nobody has studied them. Nobody has studied Europeans or white people. And they were the ones going, to Africa, to Australia, South America, all these other places, kind of poking and prodding at all these other ethnic groups to see what they do, using them as specimens, but they had never been poked and prodded and looked at under a microscope. So I saw something very wrong with that. And that's when I started running into the works of like Dr. Africa, Kobe Kimbone, Amos Wilson, Marimba Ani, so many people, Dr. Welsing, and I was like, finally, even Zora Neale Hurston, I was an avid reader of Zora Neale Hurston books as a child. So I had finally started finding books and things of people that have studied them. No, let's study you. Because for the most part, a lot of melanated groups are nature-based, you know what I mean? So they have very similar things. The where everything starts to go awry or starts to change and have some variation seemed to be when those cultures were invaded by a European presence. And that's when things kind of got twisted and mingled, and you started seeing, different shade, different types of things going on. So I noticed that, and I was like, okay, this is what the problem is, because for the most part, the religion seems to be similar. The people seem to interact with each other in a similar kind of way. A lot of things kind of lined up. But when that Western or European influence was introduced, that's when I started to notice that things started to change, and you start to get caste systems, and you started to get all these different kind of, what do you call them, like mutations. And so that was something that I caught very early. So again, that's when I started running into the works of the people that I was just mentioning. So that sent me on a search even further, of course, and now I have found I knew. But the point that I'm making is that as an adult or even as a child, like, you have a choice. You can choose a culture. You can choose whatever culture you would like to choose. You can make one up for yourself. And this is what she was talking about when he was talking about planting your flag or having a flag. Is you can choose these things for yourself. These things can be thought out. Chief has thought it out. Like Anu is a living, breathing organism. Like, it is a culture that has been very well thought out. All these things have been considered: food, clothes, interactions. What do we believe? What don't we believe? What do we do? What don't we do? Like, all these things have been thought through. And this is something that you yourself can do as well. You don't have to just take what you've been given, especially when you see it doesn't work for you. Like, at some point, you have to stop and ask yourself, has this culture or the way we've been living, has it worked for anybody? That was another thing that I had to take a long, hard look at. I looked at every generation of my family that I could, as far back as I could go. And I just looked and I said, did it work for anybody? How did the people die? How did they die? Did they die from stress or overeating and all this other kind of stuff? Was anybody thriving? Was anybody, off the plantation, so to speak? Was anybody living, not just existing or surviving, as somebody said in a comment? Is that Black culture is a culture of survival? Well, that's a very bleak, kind of horrible existence to just be surviving. You know what I mean? Like, I remember talking to some friends from Ghana once, and we were just talking about this whole thing with culture and everything. And they said, you know what, Black people, they're like, you all live to work, and we work to live. And that was so deep for me, because it was like, it's so true. Like, we over here, we work ourselves to death. For what? because by the time you finally accumulate any money or anything, all of your good years are gone. You're about to die. And that's when they put you out to pasture. You get stuck in a home, or now you're retired. You literally are retired. You know what I mean? So now it's like you hanging up your jersey. You're done. It's a wrap. Here, we'll give you this little money, this little stipend every month just to, keep you breathing. But it's not going to be enough money to actually do anything with. We're just going to keep you alive. So by the time you get to that retirement age, like, you're almost dead. And you've spent all the good years, the younger years of your life, just kind of slaving away. So I looked at that, like I said, within my own family, and I said, you know what? This is not working. It just doesn't work. So I knew, I was like, I can choose something better. Let me go to this call real quick. 813. Greetings.
Greetings, Sister Kim. Greetings. How's everything? How's the family doing today?
Well, thank you for calling.
Well,
and thank you for asking.
Great. Yes. You are touching on a topic that I'm currently experiencing. But that concept about the culture is like, we put ourselves, and generally speaking, I don't even want to put myself into it, but generally speaking, that work to live, live to work, right? And I got a family member, and I'm not trying to put the family member out there, so I'm just saying family member because I kind of received the energy from this family member since my birthday, and it kind of threw me into a whirlwind of hurt, but it's all good. We get that concept that you were just talking about, where the culture is dictating that you have to work to live. And you get to this age where now you've worked yourself to the bone. Like, there's literally nothing left of you, and you still have to work just to get by. Right. And now you've gained so many distorted spirits on you that you can't even enjoy a single day of celebration. And you end up throwing those spirits on the other people. And it's for me, and I come from a mixed family, so for me, when I sat there and said, you know what, I'm tired of the lack of African culture in my family, and I'm tired of the route that my family seems to be going. And when I sit there and start speaking about my flag and the things that I agree with, people look at me like I'm crazy. But then I'm looking at them like, you're elderly. No,
you crazy. Yeah.
And you still believe that these things that you're telling me works, and they never worked for you. And when you're actually in your African mind and you're sitting there telling them it doesn't work, I don't believe in it. I don't have any confidence in it. And then they just kind of try to put you back into that mix. I woke up with some text messages that was pretty much stating that I need to do the common thing again, or the social thing. And I'm just trying to generally speak, because I don't really want to get it. I'm trying to get away from the energy. I'm about to go on the road and go down to Miami, go visit my dad. So I got to kind of clear out my whole Ori right now. But now I really don't know what to do. I'm about to go home in about an hour, and I really don't know what I'm going to end up doing. I have some rainwater in the back, so I might just use that. So, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I'm telling you, I'm all over the place, and this is coming off of my birthday. So it's like this energy, the energy I personally had for my birthday is that I'm working on the 13th and the 3 vibe. Yeah. I was born on the 13th on a Tuesday at 3:55 p.m. in the afternoon. So if you break down all those numbers, it's 3, 13, 25, 7. You know what I'm saying? Now all these numbers represent major archetypes in my spiritual soul and my physical life now. And this being my 39th, I'm 39. So now I break that down is that I'm 3 terms of 13 years. So I'm refreshing. I got an affirmation that says, hold up. Once I start getting into that like distorted mind, I said, hold up, I'm 39. That's my affirmation stating that, look, I'm at a whole nother place right now. I'm going somewhere else because I've just accomplished something at 39. So, but I woke up with some text messages, a lot of them, from this family member, and it was just it would just expose how much if it wasn't for me understanding the way the spirit is moving through the veins and how the soul is pushing through and how the soul's protecting you through that, is that if and it threw me off this morning. I'm still kind of thrown off. Like, I literally got to clean myself up. That's why I'm talking like this. I don't know if you noticed that I'm really kind of all over the place, and I'm telling you. But the spirit, that culture that I just can't deal with anymore keeps on wanting to force itself on me. On you. Through all types, on me. Yeah. And, you know, reading through these text messages, giving the family member the time that they need for a second, got me to the point is like, I'm about to block your number. Like, I'm giving you enough. I'm giving you enough, and I'm giving you enough of my energy. And you took a lot of my energy from my Earth Day to now. So it's like, I'm at a point where it's like, I don't even want to give it anymore. I'm about to shut you down right now. But the point is, what I'm trying to say is that when that culture, when someone with no culture and with a distorted idea of culture puts their mind or their intent into somebody that has some kind of foundation and discipline and some kind of cultural, it's running through my blood now. So when you do that, you're ruining my frequency by trying to. Well, you're not. I'm allowing you to ruin my frequency by giving you a doorway into that culture. And when it comes in here, it's so dirty and it's so polluted that I have to go through and go do things just to clear it out, so I can kind of get back into on my place. And culture is important. If everyone in your family was in line with this culture, you would find your family not just trying to work to live. You would see people living, or I'm sorry, not just to work to live to work. You would see people working to live. And then you'll see the children
enjoying life, thriving in life.
Exactly. Right. And culture, and you hit the topic saying culture is important. And being able to be the male part in that house, that intent in that house is part of that culture. Being that feminine part of that house is part of that culture. And when you try to step out of that and go and blend a different culture into somebody else, that's not going to work. Which is like one chief said at one time, planting your flag in somebody else's backyard. It doesn't work.
He also said, too, in the book about, these are living things. Like, culture is a living thing. Like, when you try to if you have two trying to coexist, it's not going to work. They don't coexist. One's always going to try to dominate. Always. So especially at times like this around the holidays, that's when it's watch. It's going to come out for everybody. By the end of it, we're going to have so many of these stories on this show. It's ridiculous, because I recently dealt with something like that too. And it's just the pressure of having to constantly reaffirm, like, look, I'm not playing with you. You know what I mean? Because the thing about it is, they don't even realize how rude and disrespectful they're being by trying to force themselves on you after you have already stated, look, we don't do this. That's not what we do. No, they cannot participate in that. And then, even if you go so far as to explain why, they still kind of look at you crazy. And I look at them like they're crazy. I'm like, what you doing don't make sense. So, look, let's not even get into who's right and who's wrong. Let's just respect each other's place. I respect that that's what you do. Respect what I do. And just leave it at that. You know what I mean? But for some reason, that ignorant culture or the person that's practicing them, they don't even know what it is they're doing. They continue to persist. And honestly, that has been put into Western culture. It really has, to be that kind of missionary force. Like, I'm going to keep on knocking at your door. I'm going to keep on coming. You need to hear the good word kind of thing. Like they just keep coming at you. And like I said, they don't even realize how rude and disrespectful it is. And then you have to come back even harder. Okay, now I just have to just completely not deal with you at all, because I see that you have no respect for anybody. You don't have any respect for me at all. And, as Black people, we love to kind of throw in, well, I'm your whatever, I'm your aunt, I'm your father, I'm your mother, I'm your this, I'm your that. We like our titles, and we feel like blood, our blood kind of ties us together and kind of ropes you into this obligation. Well, it doesn't always. You know what I mean? And when you have defined a culture for yourself, like I said, they push you to the point to where now I just got to cut you off. I just can't deal with you because you keep disrespecting me. You keep undermining me. Every time I turn my back, you're doing something against me. And they don't see that as, that's like a war tactic. That's like an attack. You're attacking me. You're actually attacking me and my livelihood and the life of my child. Culture is not something that is to be taken lightly, or just something that like a little suit or jacket that you put on when you get ready to go outside, and then when you come home you take it off. Like, this is something that shapes your whole mental it shapes your mind. It tells you what's right and what's wrong. So if what's right for me is wrong for that person of another culture, guess what? We're at odds. We can't coexist. If I say eating something is wrong for my body and you, or wrong for my daughter or my body, no, we don't eat that because of whatever reason, and you say, oh, it's fine. Now you're trying to kill me because I just told you that particular food does harm to us. And then you still, as soon as I turn my back, you still trying to feed my child, or trying to feed me these things, or slip it in my food. Now you're trying to kill me. Like, you're an enemy. You have made yourself an enemy, seriously. And so people who have no culture and who have not chosen a culture, who haven't even thought of these things, this doesn't even come into their realm of thinking. They don't even think about stuff like this at all. It doesn't matter to them. It's not that big of a deal. We're tripping. They don't even think about stuff like that. And so that in itself is dangerous. You're a danger to yourself.
Examples.
Yeah.
Yep. I got 2 examples of what you just said. This same family member, I made a point in a conversation, and I stated that, with proper support, I could have been a little bit further down the road. But instead, my family members had put their own expectations in where I needed to go. They wanted me to be the surgeon and get inside the medical career, when I never showed any attributes in my life about
towards that.
Wanting to be any kind of nurse, doctor, anything. And and to this day they still do it. And they did that particular family member did it again that night. And I said, you know, you've been in my house for about 4 hours, and you haven't even went to go see what I just did as in a contractor in my room, my office space, and in my work space. You haven't even acknowledged those parts. That and I had to break it down. It's like you people put expectations from yourself onto me, but you never support me when I'm actually doing what I want to do for my life. And man, it was just like I said, I got drained of my Earth Day energy, and I'm kind of frustrated from it, and I'm kind of upset by it because I'm 39. I'm 39.
Right. 39. Not 13. But, 39. Yeah.
And it's funny that you even said about the food, because this particular family member also cooked me something, which is honorable. She cooked. I didn't want to say he or she, but it was cooked and it was brought for me out of love. But I noticed after I ate it, my mouth had irritation. My tongue was kind of swole or irritated. So I'm pretty sure I know there's something in it that I don't eat at all.
Yeah.
And I know what it is. I have a feeling it's pork, and I don't eat. I haven't had pork since I was 18, and I think that's the reason why my mouth turned up like that. And it's funny that you know this. Once again, you know that I don't even feed this to my children. You know what I'm saying? But you might have made a dish with it in just so you can give it to me on my birthday.
Well, he I know he says that, but he can eat a little bit. It's okay. You can have a little bit. I know you say that, but you can. It's not gonna hurt you. You can just have a little bit.
Yeah.
Come on, it's Christmas. It's your birthday.
Why not?
Why not? You can have it sometimes. Yeah, you know, it's stuff like that. It's like that is just the rudest, most disrespectful. It's like you spitting in my face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for those of you that are listening who don't have a culture, I really, really want you all to please understand that. That is just to try to impose what you do onto somebody else is really, really rude. Is really rude, especially when a person has made it very clear to you that this is not a part of what we do. Just stop. If a person, you know, Chief talked about this, I think, during Thanksgiving in the ethics show that he did. It was titled Ethics. It was like, you know, with an Asian person, if you see an Asian person, you don't even think to do that to them on Thanksgiving, to say, Happy Thanksgiving. You don't do that. If you do anything, you'll say, I'm sorry, but do you all celebrate Thanksgiving? You know, like you'll be very respectful about it. But to other people, you know, they just not only assume that you do, but try to make you feel like something's wrong with you that you don't. You know, and it's like, no, I've actually thought about culture. I actually know what that particular day is about. I've done the research. I've done the homework. I know more than you do. You know what I mean? I know more about that than you do. So no, I don't do that. You know, and it's like you have to go there with them. And then when you do that, they take it personally, you know, like you're attacking them or trying to say that they're dumb or stupid or something like that. And that's not what it is. It's that you are coming at me in a violent way. You're being violent towards me. And I'm trying to be patient. And I'm trying to let you know, look, I've already told you I don't do that. But since you keep coming at me, now I got to say this. Now I got to tell you, you know, why I don't or why I think it's wrong or stupid or something. You know what I mean? It's like, why do you keep having to push me there? Just let it go. I said I don't do it. Just leave it at that. Let me go to another caller here real quick. This is 864. Greetings.
Greetings. Greetings, this is Pedro again.
Greetings, Pedro. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I just wanted to give you some ammo for what you just said because, in the South, you know what I'm saying, people don't care. They think that just because they offering you something or just because, like you say, the holidays, they think it's okay for your children to take a little fat back, or let them see if they like these chitlins or hog maws or whatever. And it'd be purposely that. It'd be purposely that instead of some rotisserie chicken or the deep fried turkey. Like you want to offer my children just the pork because you know that we don't eat it.
Right.
And they be wondering why don't nobody come around for real, man. That's some real serious stuff. And you want your children to be involved with the family, but the family don't really respect you.
No.
Yeah, they don't really respect you because you trying to be serious about, getting your life together and having something to stand by and having a real foundation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just want, you saying it right, man. And like you say, anybody who don't really respect that, you need to carry on with all that, man, because that stuff really, it really is. You know what I'm saying? It's aggravating. I still.
And you know what? Something you said that's so true, especially in the South, because I'm in the South. Like you said, they purposely choose something that they know you're against. Like you said, it's not turkey, it's not chicken, it's not a piece of fruit, or something like that. Like, they don't give them like some exotic fruit or some, or whatever, something that they're not sure. They purposely choose something that they know specifically that you don't do.
It's crazy.
And try to give it to your child. You're not even giving them the chance to see if they like it. You
with that. What? That don't even make sense.
That's just like me forcing somebody to try cocaine. You're not even giving that baby a chance to try the cocaine. They might like it. Just sprinkle a little bit on this cookie. They'll be all right.
Give them a little touch of high cholesterol. A little bit of heart attack. Come on, man. That's crazy.
And nobody ever, like I said, nobody ever just takes a look at your family. And not just the immediate family. Look at the generations of your family and ask how they died. I think about that all the time when I think about how ancestors come back. Those ancestors who are about the family returning to a place of integrity or royalty or whatever it was that the family stood for. Those family members that fought to be African, fought to be so that you could have your African mind. And I think about it, I'm like, what did my family members die from? None of them died from trying to, I ain't gonna say none of them, I can't say that.
Yeah.
Some of them did not die from from fighting or for trying to assert a certain, culture or belief. You died from, like you said, eating too much pork, diabetes, heart attack, health issues, eating bad. You know what I mean? So, you died from something that is in direct correlation of a toxic culture, living a toxic culture. Nothing to do with, you didn't die from something that had to do with your liberation. You died from something in this crappy culture that you just succumbed to. That you just said, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, knowing that we only had to eat that type of stuff because we had no option. And you still celebrating it on the holidays.
By eating more.
Our ancestors really wanted to eat some boo-boo passage. You know what I'm saying? Some boo-boo organs. Like, come on, man.
And you know what? Another thing, I'm glad you said that. Something that just makes me so, I tell you, it's funny. I laugh at it. It's especially around this time how everybody started posting pictures of food on Facebook. And they post these pictures of this holiday food, and it literally looks like just vomit on a plate.
Word.
I be like, oh
horrible.
my God, like such and such threw down in the kitchen today, and it looks like vomit on your plate. Like, are you serious? With a pile of intestines, hog intestines over here, and then you got some that look like something you regurgitated over there. It's just vomit, and then maybe some other kind of.
I remember one had a whole turkey with bacon wrapped around that thing.
Yeah, it's called what is it called? Where they bake a duck inside of a turkey. They put a chicken inside of a duck and a duck inside of a turkey or something like. It's like 3 of them. They stuff them all inside of each other and cook them.
Now, that's crazy.
Yeah, I forget what it's called, tofurkey or something. I don't know what it is, but I've seen that where they take a chicken, they bake a chicken, they put the chicken inside the duck, put the duck inside the turkey. I'm like, oh my God.
That just sounds like some retarded meat. You know what I mean? That sounds disgusting, really, man.
It does. It sounds very disgusting. But yeah, I want y'all to watch these little food plates pop up on Facebook.
All those little tasties, they're trying to make all those little tasty things. They're trying to make you have a triple heart attack, not just one single heart attack one time.
I'm like, you can't even recognize what the food is. I'm like, what is that? And they was like, such and such threw down in the kitchen. I'm like, it just looks so nasty. I'm sorry. It just looks nasty. It looks nasty. You don't even know what it is. It doesn't even look like food, you know. But yeah, 'tis the season. This is the time for all of that to start popping off. And I tell you, Pedro, like I said, I'm in the South too. Like, I'm in the deep South. I think you like in Virginia somewhere. Like, I'm
South Carolina. Yeah, but you down there with the swamps and all that stuff.
So it's really, really strong and really, really bad here. You know, you go through this every year, and it's so irritating. Because like you said, what they don't realize, they look at you as if you're trying to spit on them or be disrespectful towards them, and that's not it at all. Like, you want your children to play with their cousins. You want your children to know their family members. You want that.
Yeah.
That's not you. It's not like you're trying to keep them. You're specifically trying to keep them away from them, or you think that they're, bad for you. You really do want your children to be a part of the family and to have family members and to know their family members. But what they don't seem to realize is, look, you're trying to kill me. Exactly. You are trying to kill me and my children.
My little girl, my little girl was like 7 at the time, and she to this day she'll go to school. She probably won't eat nothing but a salad. If we're not able to get her lunch, she'll eat the salad, or she whatever's on the veggie line or whatever. Like she started out only eating vegetables. She didn't eat meat for a long time, and she's still really that way. But when they did it to her, she was like, "You really want me to eat that?" And I was like. I was trying to just stay calm about it because, I wasn't trying to let them get me upset because that's all they was trying to do. They wanted me to show out about it, But I ain't even let it, I just, and they after that, I just, I can't. They still test me to this day with that same stuff, man. Like, hey, Sanaya, or hey, Nehemiah, you want to try this? You know what I'm saying? Do they still don't eat beef? Try this that rib over there. It's beef.
Right.
Man. Come on, man.
Right. Yeah. Just try this crack, man. It's just a little bit. I know you don't do crack. I know you don't do it.
Low grade.
taste it. Just taste a little bit. It's like, stop it. Stop. And you know what? It's not just with the food. It's the things that we do once we get together. Like, why are we getting together? Why are we getting together? What are we doing when we're getting together? First of all, when you get together, you're eating a bunch of dead, what if you want to call it food, you're eating a bunch of dead food. So that's not producing anything. That's not putting us in a healthy state of mind. Then you get together, they drink, everybody gets drunk, everybody smokes or whatever it is that they do. Then, you're watching movies or watching something that is even more damaging and poisonous, listening to bad music. Is this what we're getting together to do? Like, this, what is this? What is that called? Like, everything we're doing is part of a death culture. Like, so what are we doing? We're not doing anything to bring life to the family during this gathering. That's supposed to be a special day or a holy day. Holiday is supposed to be a holy day. What you do on a holy day is do all the things that can kill you or
unholy.
Right. Designed to...
The only hole that it is on a holy day is the hole that you burn out your pocket to try to get the gifts to everybody.
It's just like, people just don't think about it. I'm like, what are you getting together to do? What are we doing? What are we celebrating? How are we celebrating? So it's like, it's not just the food. It's everything that's involved on the day. And the minute you say, you know what, I'm not going to be a part of that, or try to even introduce something healthy to the situation, it's just not going to work. They're not going for it. I don't want to be a part of that. We're gonna do this stuff over here that's going to kill us. That's fun.
Yep. See, I'm chiming in. Let me chime in on something real quick. Mm-hmm. The fact that a lot of people that celebrate Christmas, if you tell them that Jesus was not even born on the 25th, and it states that in your Bible, they'll say, I know. Mm-hmm. Most people will say, I know. And then you question them, and then, why are you celebrating this holiday when they're stating that he was born on the 25th, which was completely inaccurate, somewhere in February or something like that. But it just goes to show about, like, the depth of the intellectual process that people actually have about holidays. They soak themselves into a culture that's being forced on them through movies, through media, through TV, through culture, through the years and 400 or 500 years of being impressed that this is how we're going to do it, or how you need to do it, and they still just live by that. Yeah. And I've been telling everybody, I'm celebrating 14. I'm celebrating 14 days of end of year's winter celebration, and each day is going to have a certain principle that's assigned to him. It's going to go in order. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people don't seem to understand that. It's like, look, I'm celebrating things like justice, even handedness. I'm celebrating things that is tools and keys that's going to help me move further into the culture that I love and I respect and I honor next year or the next couple years or my lifetime, my place on the planet. So I have faith.
And you know what? You have the power to do it. You have the power to do it. And if people who have culture, your culture should tell you that you have the power to dictate whatever you want. You can do that. I can do whatever I want to do. I can celebrate however I want to celebrate. I don't have to do what everybody else is doing. Or especially, I definitely don't have to do something that a person whose culture has killed every single member of my family since they've come into contact with them.
Word.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I got to book my family to only read.
You know what I'm saying? That's the thing I don't get. You know, you can call it an accident or a mishap or a coincidence if it only happened, you know, maybe like once or twice. You know, maybe then you could doubt it. But every generation of your family, every last one,
systematic,
everyone, every generation of your family has suffered under the regime of that particular culture. Every last one. And you still are, and you're still loyal to it like that. You know what I mean? You still won't even consider anything else. You won't even open your eyes to anything else.
Word.
So to me, that makes you an enemy. You trying to kill me. Because
for real,
you have already seen that it's killed my grandmother, my grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, my great-great-aunt, my great-aunt, my great-uncle, my cousin, it's killed everybody. Not just one or two people. We're talking wiped out everybody. And now you're telling me that I have to be a part of that? Now who's stupid or ignorant or retarded, whatever you want to call it. It makes no sense. So I don't know. Like I said, it's just interesting because again, you know, we're talking about living the culture this month, and it's very appropriate for the time because we got Christmas, Thanksgiving. We got all this stuff, you know, around this part of the year, and this is like when the heat is turned up. And another thing is interesting is that for those of us who aren't a part of that culture or who aren't on the plantation, you know, we're cool, we're straight every day. You know, my clock is set to our new time. So it's funny to me how, you know, finally when the plantation says, okay, you can have the day of Christmas or the day before and the day of Christmas off, like that's a national holiday for everybody. That's when everybody calls. You going down to such and such and such? You going over here? You going over there? Like that's the roundup because now everybody in the plantation got permission from Master. Okay, now y'all can go and be with your family. You know what I mean? And they don't see anything wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. And I'm looking at them like, oh, okay, it's a holiday for you. Like, okay, now you can come and play. You can come and talk to me now because, you know, your master told you could come and talk to me. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just interesting to see. You know what I mean? How everybody is so collectively involved. You know, and then how everybody's like, oh, well, you know, Christmas is over, Thanksgiving is over, I got to go back to work now. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
Now all the celebration, everything, that's turned off. We got to turn that off now. It's back to what we were doing before. And I'm sitting here looking at it like, oh my gosh, you know, and they live for those 2 days off. Looking forward to it. What you gonna do for Christmas? Y'all going? We going out of town? You going here? You going there? You going over such and such and such? You know, what are you planning? Let's all meet up. Let's do this. You know, for like those 2 days. You a grown man, a grown woman, and you gotta let somebody else dictate to you what you're gonna do to to celebrate, you know, or what times you can celebrate. I don't know. Like I said, it's just me. I just sit back and look at that and I'm like, wow. And you celebrate something that's just gonna kill you. You know what I mean? You planning your whole life around these little holidays that aren't even yours. You didn't come up with them. They ain't got nothing to do with you or your family or helping your family. The things that you do when you get together are gonna kill you even more. Like Anwar said, put you even in a deeper financial bind on top of that. Tell me one good thing. What's something good that comes out of that? I don't see it. You know, but again, anyway, we're talking about culture.
I'll tell you something good that comes out of it. I got a $500 watch out of my Christmas gift. Yeah, that's what I got. Yeah, I'm blinging.
Yeah.
And that's the trick. Yeah, you know, it's the biggest trick that we got.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you done destroyed your body by eating a whole bunch of mess, drinking a whole bunch of mess, and then even talking a whole bunch of mess. You destroy your wallet because you done spent so much cash to make sure everybody else happy. You receive these gifts, and then you walk away like, yeah, I got this, I got that, I got this, and it's just stuff to boost your ego more into the debt that you're getting yourself into overall, holistically.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And they call us crazy.
Yeah.
We're
very
insane
crazy.
for saying, what are you doing? We're insane for asking why. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm crazy for asking you why. Asking you why you do this stuff. Yeah. So, we've got about 26 minutes left in the show, guys. If you want to chime in or if you have something you want to talk about, just call 515-605-9862 and press the number 1. You know, it's so funny. I had all these notes and everything written up to talk about culture and, you know, had all these, you know, things, academic things to say about it. But it really does just kind of boil down to some of the things that we're talking about right now. It's like, you know, we're in the middle of the holidays, so-called holidays right now, and it's just ridiculous. It's, you know, nobody, you know, I challenge those of you who are on the line who do celebrate Christmas or who are, you know, planning to do some things to really think about it. I want you to, when you go to those family gatherings, just this time, think about what you're doing while you're there. What kind of conversations are being had? What kind of plans are being made? Are you making any plans? Or is it just idle gossip and chit-chat? What kind of foods are you eating? Are you eating anything that's going to help yourself? You know, just to comment on the food thing, I remember we had a birthday party for my great aunt. And my great aunt has all these different health issues, right? All types of health issues. And my aunt also have, you know, all the other people, old people at the party, like they got health issues too, basically. So when I get there and I'm looking at the food that they have all prepared, because, you know, the older people or whoever cooked, you know, for the party, I'm looking at the stuff they're eating, and I'm sitting, and they looking at me like, Kim, you just going to eat a salad? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. I already ate before I got, you know, you got to make something up. And I'm just looking at the food that they cooked, and it's all stuff that's going to make everybody at that party even sicker. And you know what? The craziest thing was, I'm sitting here watching them eating it, and they're talking about their blood pressure and popping the pill at the same time and still stuffing their face with the food.
Wow. That just happened to me recently, too. That just happened another couple days, yesterday, actually. Wow.
Yeah. So it's
another thing, while you're questioning, and I would say for the rest for everybody else that's listening, just to add on to what Sister Kim was talking about, ask these questions while you're looking at the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
You're looking at a tree that has been cut out of its roots, that's being dressed up, fancied up, so everybody can put presents underneath it. Fruit. Is that fruit underneath that tree alive, or is that fruit dead? And then just think about that. Think about a couple of those things, these little symbolic stuff that we have to deal with. Mistletoe. You walk underneath the mistletoe, a poisonous plant. And hit somebody.
Because they're rituals. People don't even realize, they talk about African spirituality as if it's demonic and it's scary and it's spooky, but you participate in rituals all the time.
Yeah.
And putting up a Christmas tree, doing all these certain things around Christmas and spending money and all this other kind of stuff, that's a part of a ritual that you're willingly participating in. You don't have a clue what it is you're doing or what the symbols stand for, that you're purchasing and that you're putting up. And so, again, like I was saying, I just challenge those of you who do have these plans for the holidays or who do participate still in some of this stuff. When you go this year or when you're around your family this year, just sit back and watch and see what happens. I just want you to really, just look at it and ask yourself, what in the world are we doing? Look at the behaviors of the people. Watch some of the things that you do. Because think about it. Like I said, these are rituals. The things, one of the things that, some of the things that we include in rituals, of course, are plants. You got the Christmas tree. We do offerings or food. So you got all your food. We pour libations. We spit out, rum or whatever. You got your alcohol at Christmas because everybody gets drunk. Sometimes smoke cigars or offer tobacco or whatever. You got people doing that. They're going to smoke cigarettes, weed, whatever it is they do. We sing songs during rituals. You got Christmas songs. Let's see, what else? People dance during rituals, doing the same thing at Christmas. Y'all get together and somebody's going to dance. Once the family gets together, somebody going to electric slide or shuffle or whatever it is they do now. You have all the elements of
they give offerings.
Yeah, you have all, and give offerings. Everybody give presents and stuff. So you have all the elements, and you take pictures and you do all this stuff. You have all the elements of a ritual. The same thing that you say African people are demonic or evil or scary or spooky. Same thing you're saying that all that stuff is spooky. You're doing those things yourself during this time. And what are you doing it for? Because and what energy are you feeding when you do it? What energy are you feeding?
That's real powerful.
Yeah.
Asterisk, quote unquote.
Just ask yourself, seriously, and I'm not saying this to be mean or anything to those who do. I'm just saying, just this one time, if you're on the phone and you're listening, try it this year. And see if you can answer any of those questions once you have gone through the ritual. Because we're talking about a 3-day ritual here.
Yeah.
That's
almost, like Anwar say, you can't say Jesus.
I don't know. Some people say that's who they're worshiping, but do they even know who that is?
I don't know.
I don't even think they know who that is.
It's not his person. That's major.
We can stump you on just who Jesus is real quick. The letter J didn't even exist until recently.
1600.
So who in the world are you talking about? So it's like, I don't know. These are things that I used to think about just as a kid. You know what I mean? So I'm just asking you as an adult now that you are, a little bit more conscious and everything, to open your eyes and just look at that and see if it makes any sense at all to you. I remember my daughter came to me, I think it was like a couple of years ago, and this was during Thanksgiving. And she came home and she said, I thought about just turkey, why people, eating turkey and stuff on Thanksgiving. She's like, first you kill a turkey, and then you pull his insides out through his butt. And then you may take cornbread or something, and then you stuff it back in through the butt. And then you eat the butt out. You know, you eat the butt and then eat the turkey. She was like, that is so nasty. And I was like, yeah, it is. Makes absolutely no sense. You disembowel an animal. Then you take something else to symbolically, I guess, put it back in. And then disembowel it again, eat it again.
So,
does that make sense? I mean, that's just nasty.
And you, just to go on to that, at the end, after you eat all that, now you a stuffed turkey.
Yeah. You stuffed turkey now.
I'm just like, that is some nasty stuff. You know, and a child has thought about this, and grown people hadn't even thought about it. They still stuffing turkeys and eating it. Like, that's nasty. It's just nasty. No, maybe it's me. Yeah, I think it's just gross. All right, so we hang on just a second. I think my headphones here are tripping. Okay, because y'all were breaking up a bit.
It was
Now it's funny. I'm always having these issues with headphones. I don't know what it is. But we've got about 15 minutes left. We're speaking about culture. If you have a question or comment, make sure you chime in before it's too late. Just press the number 1. I can bring you in. The number is 515-605-9862. And maybe I have spoiled some of you all.
Yeah, you might have watched them out.
Just Kim. Good thing. Thank you. When I got on the line, I was in a real because I've had a very challenging day. But I appreciate it. You lifted some of the you kind of threw out some of the spirits that weren't supposed to be in it. So I give thanks, and this is why this show is so important, because we as a community, when we're having conversations, we can all uplift each other and keep us motivated and focused on what we got to do. And once again, I would like to say give thanks.
Definitely. Hang on, let's see. We still have some people on the line. Like I said earlier, I did not mute your mic. Let's see, I think this is Sister Michelle wants to come in. 347. Let me try to get my audio stuff straightened out. Peace, Michelle. How are you?
Michelle, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you guys doing?
Well,
I hear very well. You know, I'm very like you guys. I just wanted to giddy up on the gratefulness of the show, because sometimes you need to hear it that you're not the crazy one. You know?
Okay. Can you
hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I just wanted to say thank you. You know, because sometimes when you do ask people the questions, you know, why do we do these things? Their eyes just gloss over and they just look at you like you're the crazy one. And you're just like, maybe I should just do what I've always been doing. But then it hits you, and it's like, no, I'm not.
I'm not crazy.
So, yeah, I know. But we're not celebrating Christmas. This is our first year, and we didn't celebrate Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we didn't. Or Thanksgiving or whatever. No thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody said anything. Nobody complained. But now, for Christmas, I'm gonna see, or whatever this season. I do like the idea of traditions, though, and since I don't know anything about Yule or about the winter solstice yet, I'm thinking of since my babies get so much throughout the year, in December we'll just make it like a month of giving. Like we do charity work, like they just give, and we'll just do that, instead of what's the norm. But I'm sure it doesn't even matter to my babies, And that's the thing is because we train them. So if it's so important to them, the tree and the thing and the other thing and the music, it's because we are the ones who are making a big deal about it. So then they grow up to do the same thing. But if right now the biggest deal for my babies is feeding the ducks. That's our tradition. You know, they get excited about that. So feeding the ducks, we feed the ducks every day.
Okay.
You know, so it's like that's their Christmas. Yeah. So it's just like silly to like teach nonsense to babies.
You make your own traditions. You have that power to do that. You know what I mean? And I haven't done Christmas in a long time. And it's so crazy. Yesterday, my daughter, a family member came to my daughter again, asked me, I bought this for such and such, I can't give it to her. No, I can't give it to her. You sure? I have told this person no, like I swear about 4 or 5 times, and they continue to still try to force it. And what makes me even more upset is that after I have said no, then you either ask me in front of my child or you make it a point to tell my child, well, I was trying to give you this, but your mama wouldn't, let you have it. So now it's like, okay, now I just got to cut you off, because that's a really evil thing to do. Because now you're trying to demonize me to my child.
Right. Because I think that material is love. So they're trying to show Zora that that they love her, but they're not allowed to love her.
Right, exactly. But your mom won't let us. We try to, we want to do all this stuff for you, but your mom won't. Your mom is keeping you from all this good stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, see, every time, I try to deal with y'all. I try. But every single time you overstep. And you're not thinking about, either you are thinking about what you're doing and you're just seriously just being evil. You're seriously just being real devilish right now. And you're deliberately spitting in my face. Or I really think that's what it is. It's like, at this point, because I haven't celebrated Christmas, I don't know how long it's been, to be honest with you, because I don't even remember. It's been that long. Or any other holidays. It's been so long I can't even remember. So the fact that this still persists, it's like, okay, now I know at this point you're seriously just being devilish. You're just being disrespectful. There's no other way to interpret it. Like, we're past the point of you being ignorant of the fact. You know what you're doing. So, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
Just to make it available, and I don't want to step over my boundaries or anything. With respect when I say this, I'm personally doing 14 days of rituals. Really not too much of a major rituals, but I'm doing the 14 keys starting on the 19th.
Okay.
And if anybody wants to join me, I was thinking about doing like how we did the cigar challenge, or maybe on the Instagram, or we can do it on another platform or another place.
That's a good idea.
We just started with the Mahat. We'll just start from there, and then it should, on the 19th, the way I mapped it out, it should work directly into Kwanzaa. So.
Oh, okay.
So it starts on the 19th. It would start on the 19th. So.
That's pretty cool.
If anybody wants to chime in with me and join me on it, we could do it. I'm planting the mango plant for Anu. It's the Anu mango plant.
Oh, I did that one.
We like mangoes. So I'm gonna start that with the first day. So.
Okay. Cool. That's a
brother. So I have a question. So what are we doing? Just one ritual each day?
We're gonna celebrate the principles. I think that's what, if we're gonna celebrate anything, we're gonna celebrate our principles and stand and learn our principles and learn more and more on our principles. That's my theory of it. That's what I was thinking. Every day I'm going to be studying that particular chapter I'm going to be utilizing it. I'm going to be trying to express that in this physical plane during that day and focus on that particular principle that day.
That's a good idea. That's an excellent idea. Me too.
So, if you guys down, the 19th, let's do it.
19th, let's start it. Sounds good.
Let's start it.
Yeah, that's
we can do
cool.
whatever we want.
Yeah, I'm with it.
I'm cool with that. Good. Good. I got my topics for all the rest of the shows for the rest of the month.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Word.
Perfect. That'll work out just fine. So yeah.
Yep.
I tell you, again, everybody, culture is important. And once again, yes, you can choose your own. You can make it up. You can choose your own. You can enact it for yourself. The same way you create your own children. You know, you can have children who says you can't create your own culture. It's a huge part of who you are, because a lot of us have so many questions about just different things in life, how to deal with certain situations. You know, your children, especially kids, they're really good at asking these questions. You know, where do babies come from? What, you know, how was I born? What happens when you die? Your culture is supposed to answer all these questions for you. And if you can't answer them, then you need to ask yourself, what kind of culture am I a part of that I don't know what the answers to these questions are? Your culture gives you those answers. When we talk about dreams on Tuesday, same thing. You should be able to interpret certain things for yourself. I shouldn't, you know, you can ask someone else like Chief or me or somebody or go to a reader or something like that. But who better to interpret it for you than you? Because whether you know it or not, the way you see certain symbols, animals, objects, people, whatever, you have your own relationship with them. A dog may mean something completely different to you than it does for me. Just pork may mean something completely different to you than it does for somebody else that likes pigs. You know, you see a snake, you may react completely different to it than the way I would. You know, so your culture gives you the behaviors and the mental makeup of how to react to certain things. You know, I remember a caller called in once, and I think he mentioned something about people eating horses or dogs or something like that. And he was just kind of saying how, you know, he was so shocked about it. And I was saying, well, I mean, I don't see anything shocking about it. It just depends on the culture that you come from. You know, if you're Hindu or whatever, they see us eating cows as something that's definitely, you know, a horrible thing to do. Cows are sacred to them. You know what I mean? So the fact that we eat cows, they're like, wait a minute, something is wrong with y'all. Why are you doing that? You know, some people eat dogs, some people eat horses, some people eat fish, some people, you know what I mean? So your culture dictates to you how to respond to certain situations, how to eat, what's right, what's wrong, what's scary, what's not scary, what's permissible for a child, or what should they be doing at the age of whatever, how to find a mate, get married, all these other kind of, like, your culture gives you that. And so when you don't have one, you're just lost. You're just kind of just stumbling and bumbling through life. You don't know what's right. What's right, you know, right now may be different next week. You know, you're just really kind of schizophrenic. You know, you just like just a little bit, just all over the place. You don't know, you don't have any foundation in anything. You don't even know if you're using the language right. You know what I mean? Or you don't even know the language. a lot of us speak English. We don't even know the meanings of a lot of words that we use. I mean, they're just so. Mm-hmm.
Let me chime in on one more observation to really destroy everybody.
Okay.
Christmas lights.
Christmas lights.
Christmas lights on your house. Okay. You work your butt off all year long to keep your lights on, and the only month that you have to have a little break from paying that light bill, you want to go ahead and put 5,000 watts of Christmas lights.
Let's blow that bill up. We're gonna blow that light bill up.
Think about that. Okay, not only that, man. Look at the decor that they do. Okay, look at your decor. Look at what they're representing with the decor that they do. I still don't get that to this day. I had a family member buy me a whole bunch boxes of Christmas lights, and I have not yet once put those things on my house, and I will not put those things in my house. Just think about it. Like, just look at the. It's a show. It's a false sense of showing abundance. You know, you're dealing with light. People are in the dark about the whole conversation and the whole holiday theme, and they bring light. They put light on their house just so they can have some light onto the mind state that's happening. So just think about it. I just want to put it out there. I can't stand Christmas lights. You know what I'm saying?
That's really what you wanted to talk about. That's what you wanted to say.
I just wanted to throw another thing out there just to really roll it for everybody.
The Christmas light is funny. That is something. But you know what? It's all symbolic because we know the tree, the house. You know, the house is symbolic of the body. The tree is symbolic of the body. The lights you have, multicolored lights, those are chakras. You know, all this stuff is kind of symbolic when the light really should be within you. You know, your chakras ought to be lit up. But, you know, whatever. Like I said, for this holiday, just kind of think about that. Let me take this last call. I think this is a Skype call. Greetings.
Peace, everyone. It's Brother Nam.
Peace, Brother Nam. How are you?
Brother Nam, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm really enjoying the show. Really liked the show last time as well. It was great topics that you picked up, Kim.
It was. It was good talking to you, too.
Yeah. So what I done was, last year around this time, I kind of done a little cheeky one. I renamed Boxing Day to Kwanzaa, and I invited all of my family members into a WhatsApp group, even the ones that don't get on. And I just said, listen, everyone, we're going to do Kwanzaa at the grandparents' house. And everyone was quite sort of receptive of it. I didn't think it was going to sort of work. A few people left the group and stuff like that, but the majority of people came. I said, I'm not doing Christmas. I'll do Kwanzaa the next day. We didn't kind of go fully into it as I would like, the whole Kwanzaa tradition. I just thought I'd just sort of break them in gently by giving them a sort of like that to remember and ask questions. They were asking questions and I was explaining. So, maybe this sort of like this year, I might do the same thing and then part 2, add a bit of colour and some lights maybe. So that's my sort of little culture, just try and do it step by step because the majority of my family, I do know, are Christian. Yeah.
Another thing I thought about too, and I think Chief has mentioned this as well, is to really try to reprogram yourself to not do anything at this time of year. Like, why does something have to be done at this time of year? Because it almost is saying that, we should, we're not going to do Christmas, but you know what? We still got to do something because it is around Christmas time. So it's almost like you're still kind of acknowledging it a little bit, but we're just going to do something different. You know what I mean? So maybe you won't do anything. Maybe next time you'll decide when the new year starts. You know, in this particular tradition, like our New Year isn't January 1st. We don't celebrate a new beginning with death. You know, when everything's dead. It's like you wait until spring, like when everything is starting to bloom, or follow. You kind of follow nature a little bit. So maybe in the future that's something that you can think about. Like, no, I mean I'm not even going to acknowledge this time of year, or even you can actually kind of capitalize on some of the energy that is expelled during this time. This might be a really good time to work some of your rituals, because that so many people are putting energy out there. If you know how to transmute some of that energy, or how to ride off some of that energy.
Can I cut
Sure.
Just to kind of go off that vibe too. Now, from what I was planning on doing, we could adjust the time, and like we could adjust that whole conversation, the whole concept of 14 keys, and break it down for the New Year. Started off like that, or we can, just like you said, Sister Kim, we can start just doing rituals for the next couple days. So it's just to harness some of this energy. We could do this.
That's right.
I'm all for that.
I've definitely.
We need to have. We got to get that one in order. We got to put that together quick. See what we got to do.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm feeling that.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do, because think about all the energy that is being put out there right now. Like I said, think about the elements of a ritual. You got music, you got alcohol, you got, food, dancing. You have all these things going on. So you can actually capitalize on some of that energy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. I like that idea. We can, we definitely need to touch bases on this, because this could be a start of something great. So I feel the energy on that one.
Well, I'll tell you what you could do is, I don't know, have the men have already met for this month, haven't they? The men?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
we can have a special session, man. This is annual Congress.
I was gonna say, like, the men could get together and figure out what it is that needs to be worked on or dealt with, and tell the women, okay, that y'all handle the spiritual part. Let the women handle the rituals, and you all dictate to us what where the energy needs to go, or what we need to be working on. Women's group gets together, we do the rituals, and you all work everything else out and see what happens. See what the results from that are.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to get in contact with Brother Charles, and then we're gonna go ahead and kind of. I will have no problem trying to step in and do some of the organizing for it. Yeah. And then we kind of figure out where we got to go from there.
Yeah. And by the way, we've done this before. This is not an original idea, so I know it works. Right. I'm just suggesting to do it, now with this new group of people. But yeah, that's how it goes.
You know what? I'll chime in too. Like, I'll chime in too every time I work with Richie, and we're coordinated with, like, like in that fashion. It always works out so wonderfully.
Yep.
So I'm excited too.
Yep. Definitely. It definitely works. Like she says, men and women shouldn't be doing the same thing. The men handle one part. The women are handle the magic, the rituals, the witchy part of the stuff. You know what I mean? And get it done. Get some things done. Yeah.
I think it's a good idea too, because a lot of, let's say, the newer members and the newer listeners and the newer community that we have here will actually get an idea of where we need to take it. And I know Chief's definitely gonna have to get the initiation going. We got to make sure everything's clarified through Chief first, and that's how I look at everything. So let's put the words out. Let's have some emails that happen within the next couple of days, next 3 days. Let's just say that. Let's make a commitment. Can we make a commitment here?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'm in. You know,
I'm in.
The women's group, we do this kind of stuff all the time.
Let's make a commitment. Okay, cool.
So sounds good to me. So we'll get it, like you said, get it together. You have access to some of the men that are in that group. Speak with Brother Charles. Maybe Charles can speak with Chief or somebody, and let us know. You know, the women meet every strong, so we can definitely get it done.
So if Brother Charles listen, I'm gonna start hunting you down within the next couple of hours. So be on the lookout for an email, brother.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you.
We definitely can get that done. This is, like I said, Sister Michelle knows this is something that we've done before, and that was kind of the original purpose of it. Is that, you know, every now and then we would do spiritual work for, you know, a particular person or family, like or what, but we would collectively do things first just to kind of bring us together and to kind of get that energy in sync, and then, you know, do things on a regular basis. But then when something is specifically needed, then of course, you know, the energy was already there. It's already created. All we got to do is just, you know, do what we're supposed to do, and it's done. So yeah, this is how those things are done. But
one of the conversations that we had was about community rituals, and we're not. It's not just a personal ritual thing that we're doing. We're doing a community ritual. Right. It's for all of us. It's for everybody. You know? And Chief spoke on this a while. Sometimes get away from just doing things just for yourself, and let's work on the community. You know, and that's. I think this is all a good part of the master plan. So let's just say that. Like just in the comment, just the last comment I'm going to talk about is just how Chief has brought on the last two Chief Speaks. Chief has brought the culminations of all the concepts that we've been working on this year into a higher understanding for me. And I'm pretty sure for everybody that's been listening to the whole lineup of topics that he has chosen, and he has done an excellent job for the ministry in regards to where we are right now. And there's a lot of things that's coming out that's just like literally getting rid of some of the old demons that we all had and moving into a direction that's going to be more focused and more directed. So give thanks.
Yep. Definitely good thing. All right. So thank you, everybody, for calling in. We've gone over time just a little bit again. It's no problem, though. Make sure you tune in Tuesday. Make sure you download the app, Our New Nation. It's in the Google Play Store. Check out the classes and everything that we offer on seduluhouse.com. Sign up for the women's group, the men's group. You can do that through the app. Or go to ournewlifeglobal.org and get involved. And for those of you that are doing something for this period of time within the year, again, just kind of challenge yourself a little bit and just observe. You know, be an observer this year and ask yourself some of those questions that we brought up today. All right. And then, you know, choose a culture. Pick one. Pick anyone. There's a bunch of them out there, or make your own up, you know. But just be in control of your own life. You know, American culture teaches you that you aren't in control, you know, that you're somehow almost like some type of, or like the song says, a wretch. You two, is something so wrong with you that you are just completely powerless, and that you got to go through somebody to get something or to be worthy of something and all of those. No, you are your own individualized portion of the Creator. You know, you can do some things yourself. You have that power, and it's your choice. So again, I just kind of challenge you to do that. Observe, think about it. Just do some deep thinking for a change. Just a little bit. You ain't gotta, pop a blood vessel or anything, but pop a vein. But just think about it. You know what I mean? You do have the choice. You do have the power to choose. Just like you choose anything else, just like you discriminate against anything else, you have that power to do so. So that is the end of the show today. Again, thank you all for calling in. Thank you, Anwar, for all the good ideas, and we're going to see if we can get some things together. Peace, Michelle, Pedro, Jam, Nyambi, the other Michelle, Carissa, Cheryl. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Everybody that always calls in, thank you for your support, for your continued support, and thanks for calling in today. All right, enjoy your day.
And do me a favor.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody run up in somebody's yard and kick Rudolph in the nose.
And tear their Christmas lights down. Take the Christmas lights down.
You're gonna get somebody shot, man.
Right. I want you all to steal a light bulb off of somebody's Christmas light. You only got to untwist one or two to mess up the whole thing.
or go in the house and just tear down all the ornaments off the tree.
Okay. So until next Tuesday.
Y'all have a good day, man. Peace.
All right. Peace, everybody.
Odabo.
Odabo.